Today, we are digging into a software debate that, honestly, for a lot of students, especially med students, it's less of a choice and more like a religion.
Oh, absolutely. We're talking about the big one, Anki versus RemNote.
It's this huge rivalry. You have Anki, the old school titan of flashcards, and then RemNote, the newcomer that's promising to fix everything.
And our mission today is pretty simple. We want to cut through all the drama around the pricing and the jargon about features.
Right. To help you figure out if paying for that convenience is actually worth it, or if you should just, I don't know, tough it out and learn the old system.
So let's start with the core concept here, because Anki is really the gold standard for spaced repetition. For anyone who might not know, what is that?
It's basically this smart algorithm. It figures out the exact moment you're about to forget something, and then boom, it shows you that flashcard.
It's all about maximizing what you remember for the least amount of study time.
Huh.
Anki really pioneered this, but its pricing, its pricing model is just wild.
It really is the desktop version, totally free.
And the Android app is also free, which is thanks to a whole separate independent dev team.
But the second you pull out an iPhone, that's where the whole story changes.
Yeah, that's where you get hit with a one-time $25 charge.
And the developers argue that this one payment funds the entire system, the servers, the syncing, all of it. But the users are so split.
Oh, completely. Some say it's a fair price to support the whole thing. Others call it, and I'm quoting here, highway robbery.
For a flashcard app, yeah.
Okay.
Now let's look at RemNote.
Okay, so with RemNote, you do get a free version, but all the features that make you actually want to use it, they're locked behind a subscription.
And it's not a small one.
No, it's $10 a month, so that's, what, $120 a year? Every single year.
Which brings us right to the features. I mean, is that price justified? Anki is famous for being like a blank canvas.
Right. It's open source. You can add anything you want to it. The community is massive.
But that initial experience, it really feels like you need a PhD in computer science just to get it running. And the interface, I mean.
It looks like it's from 2010.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's so dated.
And that's what we call the friction cost. You get all this amazing flexibility, but you pay for it with your time and your frustration.
So RemNote's whole pitch is that it gets rid of that friction.
It's built for it. It's a modern integrated system. The big thing is that it combines your note-taking directly with your flashcards. It's all in one place.
And they have these features, things like bidirectional linking and knowledge graphs. What do those actually do for a student?
They save you mental energy. So bidirectional linking is simple. Let's say you're taking a note on, I don't know, concept A.
Okay.
And in that note, you mentioned concept B. The app automatically creates a link back and forth between them. You don't have to do anything.
So it builds the connections for you.
Exactly. And the knowledge graph is just a visual map of all those connections. It shows you how everything fits together so you're not just memorizing, random facts.
So RemNote is basically selling structure. It's selling a seamless process.
Yeah.
Which I have to say sounds way better than Anki's big digital pile of index cards that you have to sort yourself.
And that is the absolute key difference. You're paying RemNote $120 a year to avoid that setup pain, to avoid the maintenance.
Whereas Anki is the ultimate value play. It's either $0 or, at most, a one-time $25 fee.
But only, and this is a huge only, if you're willing to put in the time to learn it and find all the right community add-ons to make it work for you.
So when it comes down to it, what does this all mean for you, the person listening? The choice isn't really just about money, is it? It's your time budget.
Precisely. Is RemNote's seamless, integrated experience worth paying for year after year? Or is dealing with Anki's friction an acceptable price for a tool you own forever?
And, this makes me think about a bigger question for the future of learning software.
What's that?
Well, if the most customizable and powerful tools are always going to have high friction, and the free tools will probably always look a bit dated, are we just going to see everyone, no matter their budget, eventually just defaulting to paying these high subscriptions just for modern convenience?
That's the real question, isn't it? That's the real cost of saving a little bit of time up front.